Sumela family.
Shalom.
I'm Brother Ator.
And I'm Isha G.
And we are, for those who don't know, Stepping Stones to Home here in Botswana. And today, in light of the breaking news, we just thought it was pertinent that we came on here just to talk to the family. Listen, for us, we feel the time is here for those who have an ear to hear to come up out of the U.S., aka Babylon.
So interesting enough, I was going to do this video on why we thought you should leave the U.S. regardless. I had this video planned out about a week ago, not knowing all this foolishness was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so here we are now, since everything that has gone down.
And hold on, for those of you who don't know, and I know we can't assume that everybody knows, it has been confirmed that the U.S. has done a strike using bunker buster bombs on Iran's nuclear sites.
Right. So being that all this has happened, I thought it would be the perfect time right now to actually come on here and tell you all why we think
yes,
it is a good time to leave the U.S. If I were in the U.S.,
correct.
Why I would leave the U.S. right now. So, as some of you know, we've been on the continent of Africa for a little over 4 years now. Hallelujah.
Yes, praise the Most High.
And, thankfully we're not in the U.S. right now. Nowhere close. And so just a few reasons why, I was just sitting back just pondering. I'm like, for me, these are the reasons why I would leave. Number one, for us who know that we are Yasharel, we're Israel, whatever you want to call
the real
us,
Israel,
the real people, the descendants of the people we read about in the Bible, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the 12 tribes. Number one, if you read the scriptures, you know what it says. You have to leave regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, it's like, if I know I have to leave regardless, the Most High never told you that you had to sit there in the U.S. Here's the thing, and I think I said this before. Before we knew who we were, before we knew we had to return back to our homeland one day, we had our people leaving, moving to other countries, and nothing was thought about it.
Nothing was
said about it. It was okay to leave and move to another country then. The moment.
Wait. Let's say it right. The minute people that look like us said, I'm going to Europe, I'm moving to Germany,
right.
I'm moving to France, I'm moving to Australia, I'm moving to Japan, Thailand. Mm-hmm. It was not a problem. But
not a problem
the minute we said, I'm moving to Africa, we crazy.
Not that the moment we found out that we had to return back, and that the Most High was saying that he was going to gather his people from the four corners of the earth, then all of a sudden it was something wrong with us leaving and going to other countries, which that was something I could not understand. If we was doing it the whole time, why all of a sudden, just because we had this new information, knowledge has been increased and is continuing to increase, why was it now that we had to stay in the U.S. and wait to be gathered if we were going before and there was no problem? If he say he gonna gather you from the four corners, it don't matter whether you in the U.S. or Japan. Right. A gathering is a gathering.
I mean, look, the fire department, they can gather you out your house, but if you have a way to get out the house, you're not gonna sit there and let the fire burn around you and just say, yeah, I see the door right there, but I'm just gonna sit here on my behind because they're going to get me.
So that's my first reason. You gonna have to leave regardless, whether it's right now or a little later or whatever. You gotta leave regardless. So you might as well, if you have been preparing, leave. Or if you have not, you should start getting your stuff together to leave. The other reason, once again, if we read the Bible, we know that America, Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, is ripe for judgment. It's in the word.
And his word was sent out to do what it was sent out to accomplish, and not able to return void, because he is what? Not a man.
Right, he ain't gonna lie. So, they're ripe for judgment. And I have heard this, unfortunately, before.
Too many times.
And I ain't saying people I know, like, close to me have said it or whatever, but I've heard people say that the Most High is not going to allow anything to happen to America because our people are there.
I don't recall that reading that in the scriptures, did you?
If you remember, in Egypt, judgment was happening while our people was there.
Now, we will say this, because I don't want the people to be talking about, no. Listen, he did make a distinction at a certain point in Egypt. We understand the word, but we are just letting you know that when he has told his people to come up out of somewhere and they refuse to do it, you're just helping him to leave the remnant that actually would get up and leave like he told them to.
So, it's like you can't think that if the Most High he has a set time for everything. Right?
Everything.
So if it is his time, he's perfect in all his ways. Everything he does, he's perfect. If he has said, this time on earth, I am going to allow this to happen to Babylon. He is going to allow that to happen in that specific time because he has spoken it. He has planned it. No matter who is there, he's already spoken it. So it is going to happen. So I'm saying you cannot say because Israel is in the U.S. that judgment is not going to happen until all Israel leaves. That's just not going to happen.
Because plenty of Israelites in the Bible was killed for disobedience.
So another thing, I know there's uncertainty right now with the ones of you that are still in the U.S., the ones that are in other countries that's close to where all this foolishness is going on right now.
Caribbean.
Wherever you are, there's uncertainty of what is going to happen. It's uncertainty with, are these people going to come and attack over here? What would happen if they come and attack over here? What is going to happen if the money crashes?
How are they going to attack?
Right. What is going to happen if AI takes my job? What is going to happen if the grid goes down? What is going to happen if this and if that and if another pandemic hit? If. It's uncertainty if you're in the U.S.
And I just want to say, leave the flesh pots where they are. Don't try to return to them.
There are uncertainties. So, with those uncertainties, they're there. Whether you're in the U.S. or you leave, there are going to be uncertainties. You don't know what's going to happen if you stay. And for a lot of people, it's on your mind, well, what is going to happen if I leave? And so you're unsure about these things. But here's the thing. Whether you stay, you're unsure. Whether you leave, you're unsure. That's where faith comes in. Because this whole journey, we've said before, it is a faith walk. So you will be unsure. Just know that it is normal to be unsure. If you leave, it's normal to feel afraid. You don't have to give in to fear, but it is normal to feel afraid and be unsure. It's normal to be like, Most High, I don't know what's going to happen to me. It's normal. But faith is no matter how you feeling, how afraid you are, you still walk because you like, I'm afraid, but I'm trusting in you to take care of me, Yahuwah. So that is that faith walk. You don't have those uncertainties, being unsure whether you stay or whether you go.
Right.
But at least you know that if you go, you're leaving that place where you know for sure judgment has begun.
And when you say you believe the word and you believe that the United States is Babylon, and you say that I know we have to get up out of here, but you don't. It doesn't. Look, when our people came out of Egypt, they had no idea where they was going. They had no idea how they was going to eat, how they was going to survive. But the Most High, He fed them. And it says that their clothes didn't even deteriorate. That means He took care of them because they stepped out on faith. They left everything they knew. And me and my wife have been living that for the past 4 years here on the continent. I just want to say this. We came here with nothing and we're still here. I get it. I get it. Leaving what you know is scary. You have that dependency on everything that America provides. I get it. But the problem is, the Most High said depend on Him and Him alone. He owns everything above the earth, under the earth, and on the earth. It all belongs to Him. You can't save yourself. You can't provide enough for yourself. He is the only one that can provide for you when you put your trust in Him and Him alone. Saying a few scriptures makes you might sound good, but you have to walk it out.
Yeah. You know, one thing I thought about when we were back in the U.S., it was always easy to say that I had faith in the U.S. Now, don't get me wrong, you do have to have faith for some things in the U.S. But when it comes down to the levels of the faith that you have to have for certain things, for some people, they have to have more faith for certain situations than others because other people are not experiencing what they're going through. And so they have to trust the Most High in a way that this person has never had to trust the Most High. So in the U.S., you have, if anything happens, say you lose your job, you have all these things that you can fall back on. You have online work where it's a little bit of nothing that you have to do. It's super easy, answering questions, all kind of stuff like that. And you can make money in the U.S. You can drive for Uber. You can drive for Lyft. You can drive for one of those medical delivery companies as long as you have a vehicle. And then a lot of times...
And a valid driver's license.
A valid driver's license. And a lot of times they will actually, if you don't have a car, you can rent a car from them to drive. So you always have a fallback plan when you are in the U.S. You have unemployment that you get as a fallback plan in the U.S. You have free medical, well, somewhat. It ain't good medical, but you can get a little something done if you need to go to the, right, through Medicaid, different things like that in the U.S. And then you have your family members there in the U.S. who, even though our families act a fool when it comes down to each other, but when it boils down to the nitty gritty, most people normally have somebody,
even if it's one person,
US that will say, you know what, just come and stay here until you get on your feet. It may not be comfortable, but most of us have at least one person in our family who will say that. So you always have a fallback plan in the US, no matter what happens to you. When it comes down to your children, if you don't have money for them to pay for lunch, they got free lunch. If you ain't got no way to get them to school, you can put them on a bus for free. You know, so you always have these things to fall back on. But when you come out of the U.S. and you're trusting in the Most High,
because He's all you got,
there is no fallback plan except Him. That is having faith in Him and Him alone. That's what our ancestors went through in the wilderness. There was no fallback plan. They couldn't go back to Egypt. All the nations that was around them that They didn't like them. They didn't want them even traveling through their land to even buy food or whatever, pay for. They didn't want any of those things for our people. They wouldn't allow it. So our people had to depend on the Most High. That's all they had. He provided their food. He provided their water. He provided for them to have their shelter. He provided, like my husband said, for their clothes not to even wax old. Can you imagine children having the same clothes from when they were children up until they became adults? Can you imagine that?
And you have to ask yourself, do I truly believe the word? Or has the world taught us to think that when we hear these things in the word, it's symbolism? These things were literal that the Most High could do.
Right.
He did these things. It wasn't just something to give you an idea. No, this is things he did. Children, their clothes grew with them. He could do that. I believe that.
Right. So, when you have faith, you're walking out your faith. You experience the miraculous. And that's what happened to our people. They experienced the miraculous when they walked in faith, when they put their trust in the Most High. So it is the same thing when you come out. It is the same faith walk. The Bible did not end with what we read in Revelations. The Bible did not end, or the history of our people did not end.
Ongoing.
It is continuing through us. We are the same as what we read. A lot of times we see them as, and I think in our minds it's still sometimes like a story, a fairy tale. We hear about these mighty men. We hear about Joseph. We hear about the Daniels, the Samuels, the Ezekiel,
the 3 Hebrew boys,
Elijahs. We hear about these things and we live them up like, man, they were so, powerful and just so strong, and I want to be there. And yes, a lot of them had closer relationships with the Most High, hands down, than many of us. However, they were still people just like us.
But they
it was
faith.
No different. They had to trust in the Most High. They had to believe the Most High. When the Most High said something, they had to believe it. No matter what situation they were in. Can you imagine Joseph being sold by his brothers and him having to trust in the Most High, that the Most High had a plan? It was his will for that to happen to him.
For him to be in prison was the Most High's will.
But he had to go through it and trust in the Most High, and the miraculous happened. So it's the same with us. When we come out, we have to do the same thing and know that this whole thing that our people has had to do for thousands of years, we have to do it too. It didn't stop with our ancestors. It continues with us.
And for those of you who say, why should I go to Africa? Why should I go to people who hate me? People hate you in America. People hate you in the Caribbean. People hate you in Europe. People hate you in Japan. They hate you in China. But you still go to those places.
Or you still stay in those places.
Right. And you're talking about these people hate you. You ain't even never been over here. You hear stories of people who come over here with the wrong attitude. They come over here with that American bravado, like I'm the greatest thing to walk the face of the earth. You come into somebody else's house. Imagine me walking in your house, trying to tell you how to do stuff in your house. That don't make sense. You can't come over here thinking that you're the greatest thing to walk across the face of the earth. You're supposed to be a light. You're supposed to come over here and show these people the people of Yahuwah. Right. So stop talking about these people hate you, but you stay in a place where they're trying to kill you.
Right. And then, like we say, you have to remember also, as we read the word, it's not just our people over here. Remember, our ancestors failed to do what they were told to do when the Most High told them, get rid of all the people in the land. And because they did not, it just was a downward spiral for our people until where we are right now. And we still have these other nations that they failed to get out of the land, in the land. Those people are not us. Not everybody on the continent is us. And not everybody on the continent, because them not being us, actually like us. And so, like my husband said, everywhere you go, you're hated. So just it's a beautiful thing to know that it's less people bothering you over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. You have people in the U.S. right now that are saying the same thing that you're saying. I'm a follower of the Most High Yahuwah. I'm of the 12 tribes. They don't like you either. But guess what? You still hanging around them.
So, these are just things that we hear, and I'm gonna be honest, with our people, everything that's going on, I am so concerned for our people in the U.S. I really am. And that's why I'm on here right now, because I am super concerned right now. And I love my people. As much foolishness as our people do, and I could say definitely from the U.S., because I lived around our people for just about all my life. Our people do some foolish things.
Look, we know ourselves.
Right. Our people, we can make each other so angry, and we can do some very unrighteous things to each other. And through all of that, I love my people. I love my people, the ones who were brought on those ships. And I love my people in the Caribbean. I love my people in Europe. I love my people in Canada. I love my people on the continent. I love my nation.
Hallelujah.
We got good apples and bad apples, but it doesn't stop me from loving my nation. I've been hurt terribly times by my nation, as all of us have, but it doesn't stop me from loving my people or from not caring enough about my people to help my people. And why? Because my people, you're my Abba's people. You're Yahuwah's people. And so I love my people, our people. The other reason why I would leave the U.S., war is not pretty, y'all.
No.
So I have some family members who don't even follow, really what's been going on with the wars and stuff like that. I was really taken back when I talked to them, because I've been praying. And then some of the comments I heard, I just had to pray for my heart. And I say, Yahuwah, I place my heart in your hands pertaining to my family. That's what I said. War is not pretty. What we have experienced is the U.S. being in war that has been fought on another nation's ground. We have never experienced war on the U.S. soil, not our generation. I'm 41 years old. My husband is almost 50. We've never experienced war on the soil of the U.S. We've only heard about the war or seen images of certain things on the American news networks for the most part. I know nowadays we watch other channels and stuff like that, but for the most part growing up, that's what we saw. We never experienced what it felt like for war to be happening on the soil that we were walking on. It is not pretty. I was seeing some of the videos of the war between Ukraine and the Israel state, whatever they call themselves.
Not Ukraine, Iran.
I'm sorry. No. Wasn't it Ukraine? No, that was not. I'm sorry, not Israel. It was Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah.
The video I was watching, and I was seeing the images, and then I saw the images when Israel started fighting the Palestinians. And it was more gruesome what I saw when the state of Israel started fighting the Palestinians.
There's things we see here that you guys don't see. There's videos they won't allow to be seen in the U.S.
And when I was looking at some of those videos, little babies, little children, dead, limbs blown off, dead, lying in the street at school.
Bullet holes.
And just students laid out dead. And this is not universities. These are children, small children. So when people say we've been through wars before, you've never been through a war like that where the bombs are hitting around you. The U.S. has been going to other nations to bomb and fight and stuff, but it hasn't been on your soil like that. We don't know what it's like to hear bombs going off like that around us.
Also, all the wars that the U.S. has fought, you might hear every now and then, the neighbor around the corner, his nephew that was in the military got killed over in Iraq, got killed over in Baghdad. These type of things is what you heard, but you didn't hear what some of these people are hearing. Yeah, all of our neighbors in the building next to us got wiped out. We don't know what that's like. You don't know what that's like to be sitting out in your yard and you hear the alarms go off and a bomb comes and blows up the 5 houses next door to yours.
Right. We have no idea. And what it does to a person mentally when you see bodies dead, laid out like that in the street. See, right now, people can laugh or think that it'll never happen to the U.S. because it never has made it that way as far as these international wars. However, the U.S. will not be spared. We know that. It is coming.
The U.S. said nobody would attack them, and y'all saw what happened in Pearl Harbor.
So they didn't think Israel was going to really attack Iran. And they did. They didn't think Iran was going to retaliate. And they did. They didn't think Trump was going to send fighters to bomb. And he did.
And Trump thought Iran wasn't going to do anything after that. And guess what? After he dropped those bombs, Iran retaliated on Israel and said the U.S. got something coming.
So it's like you cannot think that a bully is going to keep punching people and a person just going to keep standing there letting them punch them. How many times is the U.S. going to actually do stuff like that to other nations before other nations start retaliating? It is foolish for these nations to not retaliate when the U.S. will not relent when it comes down to fighting them and keeping them suppressed and stuff. Judgment will happen. It has been prophesied about the nations that are going to come against them. It will happen. So war is not pretty. You have to think. It is not just you. Some people can say, we all got to die one day. True, you do. But it does not have to be today. It does not have to be with that's coming, unless that is the will of the Most High. But it does not have to be that way. You have to remember, it's not just you. If you say things like that, a lot of you got little children. Are you considering your children? If you feel like everybody got to die and you can say that for yourself, are you putting your children in that boat with you, thinking about that? And if you are, then are you okay with seeing your babies dead laying there in the street? Are you okay with that? Because that's what it means with war coming to your soil, where you live. You can't say that it won't happen to you or your neighbor or your children. You don't know what the Most High has written. You don't know. You have to allow His Spirit, His Ruach to lead you. If you have been feeling that unction, you've been warring with yourself, and you've been trying to convince yourself of all the reasons, or listening to people, you're listening to people telling you this and this and this is not going to happen. What is the Ruach putting in your spirit? What is He putting in your spirit? It does not matter about what other people think is going to happen or is not going to. It don't even matter about what I'm saying right now that I think is going to happen. What is the Ruach putting in your spirit? What He's putting in you, that's what you gotta do. Because if you don't do it, you will be caught up in the judgment. Because if he's putting that unction in you, he's putting those feelings in you like, man, we really need to get out of here. He's doing it because he's trying to save you. He's doing it because he doesn't want you to go through with what is coming. He doesn't want that for your children. So if you don't take heed, that is called disobedience. And when you are disobedient, you will get caught in the crossfires. So you have to listen to the Ruach. Shut out everybody else. There's lots of people giving good information on YouTube and these other channels right now. There's lots of people. But at the end of the day, you got to stop listening to man. And you got to start listening to the Ruach. At the end of the day, you got to start paying attention to, it's not just you, it's your family. What is he saying? This is the time now, but that you need to start seeking safety. If you belong to the Most High, this judgment is not meant for you.
But you can make it meant for you.
He doesn't want it for you. So what is he saying to you right now? This is not something to be running out of fear. It is about obedience to the Most High, not fear. You can't say that when he said to Jerusalem, when you see yourself surrounded by these places, these nations, to flee to the mountains. You can't say that those people were just running out of fear. Yeah, they didn't want nothing to happen to them, but obedience to the Most High said, he told me when I see this to do this, so let me do it. It is obedience to him. So that is the other thing. War is not pretty. The other thing is, I know a lot of people may feel like if I come, I don't even know where to begin. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. Y'all, there is a reason why for years now, years, since before COVID, but COVID was what highlighted why he started sending people then. It was not just by happenstance that many people started leaving and going to different countries. He did that for a reason. It wasn't a mass amount of our people, but there was, a few thousand of our people who have left. It's not a lot when you look at us as a whole outside of the continent and other countries. But there's a reason why he started sending people out, because he's placed people in different nations to help you. There is help for you if you want to leave and you don't know how. He's already provided resources for you. And I'm not just talking about the continent. There are people all over, different places, even outside the continent, that he sent that can help you, that you can reach out to. YouTube, TikTok, all these things that people are on is there. The resources are there. You just have to reach out. So you don't have to be afraid, because you have the help if you want to leave. What else? We're no longer in Tanzania, of course, but there are people in Tanzania. We're in Botswana now, but there are people in so many other countries that you can reach out to for help. The other thing is this judgment that's coming, even though this is man-made, right? This is man's hand that is pushing all these buttons. We know they have an agenda. They have a time frame that they need certain things done by for them to enter into their utopia. So they have a time frame for all these things to be done. So they are getting things in order according to their master, who we know is Hasatan, Satan, the fallen. For this falsified utopia that they believe they're getting ready to go into. However, judgment does not always happen the way that we think. They are the ones doing this, but it is the judgment of the Most High that is happening. He has allowed these people to do this and use their own ignorance for their demise, for judgment to come down on them.
So what does that mean? What that means is, guess what? Hasatan knows exactly what his destiny is.
Mm-hmm.
And he has fooled these people into thinking that they're going to be in this utopia. He's fooled these people into thinking they're going to win. The Most High has never lost. Everything that might look like a victory was by the Most High's hand. He said that he places rulers in place for his glory. So Hasatan, he knows where he's going. He knows where his soldiers are going. But he's still telling people, serve me, follow me, and this is what's going to happen. Because remember, just like with Job, he had to go before the Most High and ask permission to even come after Job.
Right. So, for a lot of people, like, man, why Trump got to be doing this? Why he got to be messing with people? Why he got to be doing? He's been set there in place by the Most High.
He's doing his job.
That is why he is there. Remember Nebuchadnezzar. Remember Pharaoh. These people were put in place by the Most High
for his glory.
For his glory to be seen and for judgment to come upon the nation whom he was judging. Nebuchadnezzar was sent to judge Judah. Pharaoh was put in place so that the Most High's power could be seen and to bring judgment upon Egypt, Mitzrayim. So the Most High, he put people in power to bring judgment. So Trump says that he is for making America great. But what he is doing is actually tearing America down, because that is what he was created to do. He was created to sit in a place of power and to bring it down. That's why he's there. So we cannot get upset about why he's doing certain things or say, this doesn't make any sense, he needs to stop, just leave people alone, get out of people's business. He ain't going to get out of people's business. He's not going to stop. All the foolishness that he's doing is going to continue, is going to ramp up more, because that is why he was sent.
And it ain't going to get better.
No, it's not going to get better. So, I know that a lot of our people know that it's not going to get better, but then some of our people, I think, are hoping that it will get better. And for those of you that are hoping it will get better, it is not going to get better in America. It is going to get worse. And then it is going to spill out onto other nations. It is going to get worse all over. It's not going to stop, because it is time for judgment. There's a time for peace. There's a time for war. There's a time and place for everything. It's a time to be happy. It's a time to be sad. Right now is a time for judgment. And so the man is doing what he was placed there to do. I don't like him, but he was put there.
I don't like none of the politicians because it's only supposed to be one government, and that's the Most High's government. So I don't care about none of them.
So, those people, we all know, no matter how you may try and act like them or look like them or brush elbows with them.
Speak the words they speak.
And we say that because y'all know we don't sound like that. We don't talk like them folks. You will never be them. For the young lady who, my sis put out the video about why do you want to be American?
So bad.
Miss Raven Simone.
Miss or Mister?
Whatever. She said, when will we ever get to where we can just be American? Well, my dear, when that nation that you live in could look at you and not see that you are African and just accept you as American, maybe then you can just be American. Your blood will always come back African, but maybe then you can say, I'm just American. But unfortunately for you, as light as you may be, you just one of us. And that's just what it boils down to, and you always will be. And they will never accept you for who you are.
You can marry one of them. All your friends can be one of them. But they will always see you as a Negro.
Because it is prophesied that you will be hated by all nations. They will always hate you.
And you probably hate yourself. That's why you want to be American, because you think if you are able to say, I'm just an American, everyone's going to like me.
But just because we say that and a person say, I am American, fool yourself if you want. Your blood will always say African. So, just saw that video, and it was just interesting to me that people won't accept you, but, you want to be them. It's very interesting. And the last thing I'm going to say is, I talked about fear earlier. Fear is not of Yah, okay? He don't want us to be living in fear. So as I said, is it scary to leave the U.S. and come out there? You don't know these people. You know that way back when our ancestors lived here, but we ain't lived here for umpteen years. It's scary, yes, but you don't have to walk in fear. The Most High don't want you to walk in fear. That is not of Him if you are walking in fear. So, if you going to serve the Most High and be obedient, you cannot walk in fear. You cannot keep making excuses for why you are staying in the U.S. when the Most High has told you to leave. You've been researching leaving. You've been trying to figure out your plan. You've been trying to do all these things. Why have you been doing that if you feel like you're supposed to stay there? There's something in you that is telling you that you need to leave. That's why you're doing all that. So if you know that, don't walk in fear. Move. Walk in faith, not in fear. If you know that you're being told to leave, and I say if you know you're being told to leave, because I know a lot of people just feel like, no, he ain't told me to leave. To each their own. Whatever you hear, whatever you don't hear, your relationship is between you and the Most High. It is not for me to say this, or the other. But I do know the Most High has told many of His people to leave. And so I'm talking to you who have been told to leave. You've been doing all this research because you feel in your bones that you're supposed to leave. So you're trying to figure out where to go, when to go, how to make a way for yourself and everything. Listen, when He told Abraham to leave, He ain't tell him where He was taking him to. He ain't tell him, I'm going to take you this way, then I'm going to take you this way, then you're going to go to this country, and you're going to stay here for this long, and this is how you're going to, make your livelihood. He ain't tell him none of that.
How many times you going to ask the Most High to make the fleece wet on one side and then make it dry before you go?
Right. And when our people again came out of Mitzrayim, Egypt, He told them, yeah, He was going to, He was taking them to the promised land, yeah. But He ain't tell them all the details of what was going to happen on their way there. And then when they got there, He didn't tell them all the details of what was going to take place while they were there. All the nations they were going to have to fight. All the things they were going to have to, endure and come in contact with when they got to the nations.
Wait, so you're saying that when He gathers us all at one time out of the U.S. and He brings us into the land, that there's going to be people that love us here, that like us here? Because I remember when they came out the first time, they had to fight, didn't they? Because the people didn't want them there. But then we complain about they don't want me in Africa.
They had to fight, and I'm not saying it's going to be a physical fight. I don't believe it will be, but what I'm saying is there are going to be things that you come across that are uncomfortable. There are going to be some people who don't like you, and remember what I said, not everybody here is us. So there are going to be some people here who don't want you here, but for the most part, that is not what we receive here on the continent. Now, I can't speak about other countries and things, or South America, all kinds of stuff. I ain't never been there. But for the people that have been going to those places, see how they've been received. I have seen a few videos, and people are loving it where they are. But there are going to be some things that you come across. You're going to be tested. You're going to be tried. You're going to have times where you cry. It's going to be times where you're going to ask the Most High, why is this happening to me? Why did you bring me out and things are like this? Why in the world would you bring me out in this manner? Why couldn't you make it like this? Why this? But at the end of the day, all those whys don't even matter, because it's what the Most High has ordained for your life. And so what I'm saying is, with all the planning and everything like that, you could have 1,000,001 plans. And we're gonna do a video just with us and another family, maybe another family, and just telling you about really all the nitty-gritty trials and tribulations that we have been through since coming to the continent of Africa. And we're going to, of course, it's good things and it's bad things, but we're going to go over all of them, because it's not just us. Mm-hmm. Everybody that comes out, you are going to have a powerful testimony, because you are going to be tested. You are going to be tried. We all been put under the rod right now. But that ain't going to stop when you come out and you go to whatever country. You still are going under the rod. And remember, you have to come out a certain way. When you're put through that fire, you have to come out shining. Right. Pure. So,
you got to be polished up from the muck that got on you from Babylon.
Right. Remember, our people had to have Mitzrayim purged out of them. And it's the same thing. You got to have Babylon purged out of you. And it's a lot of ways that we have that we don't realize that we have. And I'm not just talking about Babylonian ways. It's just a lot of ways that we have that really is not, it's unrighteous. And we don't know that it is. And so the Most High, He's polishing us up. But the way that He polishes us up is not pleasant. Fire don't feel good. Being beat with a hammer don't feel good. Having hot steam poured on you don't feel good. But that is how you make a beautiful sword that works properly. So you will be tried. You will go through, and it will hurt. I'm just letting you know, it is going to hurt. But just know it's for your good. Remember, when it comes down to the kingdom, when it comes down to being a follower of the way, following Yahusha, the Son of the living Yah, when it comes down to following Him, there's a price that you have to pay. You don't just follow Him and it's all peachy cream, sunshine and rainbows. If He went through, guess what? You going through. If you want the kingdom, guess what? You're going to have to fight.
Earn it.
You're going to have to fight for the kingdom. And I mean, fight is willingly, it's freely given. And what I mean fight is you're going to have to fight your flesh. You're going to have to fight yourself. You're going to have to fight yourself from giving up. You're going to have to fight yourself from running away from what doesn't feel good. You're going to have to fight yourself to say, no, you're going to stand and you're going to go through this, because the Most High is the one that put you here. He is the one that has you going through this. You're going to have to fight your flesh so that you can be obedient and be polished up, shined up the way that He wants. He's just trying to make you look good. That's all.
He want to leave His mark of obedience on you.
So don't walk in fear. Don't walk in fear. It's okay to be afraid. sometimes, but don't let that control your actions. That's what I'm saying. Be obedient to the Most High.
Hallelujah.
If he calls you out, if he's calling you out, don't be afraid. Don't look around you at what you can't figure out. Don't look around you and say, this doesn't make sense. Financially, this doesn't make sense. It does not matter. Because when it comes down to Yahuwah, our minds can't fathom what he can fathom. We can't see what he can see. Are you willing to be uncomfortable if he's telling you to come? Are you willing to be uncomfortable? For those of us who are used to living on our own and having a nice lifestyle, would you say yes if he calls you out and say, I'm going to make you live with somebody for 5 years when you come out? Are you okay with that? When he places you there, say it's going to be uncomfortable to you, and the person that I'm going to put you with, y'all ain't going to really get along. Are you going to say yes?
If he tells you can't have those comfort foods that you used to, you can't run to the corner store like you used to, that I need you to do this and this alone, can you handle that?
So the thing is, don't fear. You may not want to go through it. And I'm not saying everybody's going to go through with the same thing. You're not going to go through the same thing. We don't all have the same testimony.
But you're going to go through something.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the real. You're going to go through. So I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. And like a lot of people say that, it's just a beautiful place and it's this falsehood of what leaving. And I'm not just saying coming to the country, going to another country is about. It's not all beauty. So you have to be prepared to that. You have to be prepared to endure till the end, or until you're past that stage in your life. We go from victory to victory, from glory to glory, and that is what we're continuing to experience over here. And that's just it. You just have to go through it and just don't fear. Know that the Most High got you. I've had my days of crying. I've had my days of I just want to dig a hole and cover it up and just hide in it. I'm just being honest. I've had my days of asking, questioning the Most High. I know people say you shouldn't question the Most High. I do, because if I don't understand, I like to try and get clarity. That don't mean He gonna tell me, but I still do ask. I question why. I try and understand. I try and see, what are you teaching me? What is it that you want me to see about myself? What is it that I'm missing, Yahuwah? Why? Because I don't want to just do something just out of, I'm just doing it. I like to understand what I'm doing wrong so I don't repeat it. That's me. So don't walk in fear. He has you just like He has had us. All this time, He has provided a way. All this time, He will provide a way for you. It may not be the way that you want, but He will provide a way. He will provide the way that is perfect for you. Just don't walk in fear. Don't live in fear. That's all that I wanted to come on here and just talk to y'all about. Like I said, we're going to share some testimonies of not just us, but just somebody else. So y'all can, have a better understanding of what you're going to face. I feel like if somebody tell you what you're going to go through, it makes it a little bit easier than to have a false expectation of what you're going to go through. So, that's all we're going to do that video, and I pray that it blesses you all. I pray that it helps you all. I pray that all these videos strengthen you and to do what He's calling you to do in this time.
Hallelujah. So family, thank y'all for taking time out of your day to just hear us and what we had to say that was led by the Ruach. And listen, if y'all want to support what we're doing out here, You know, you can send us a Cash App. You can become a Patreon member and support the channel, support what we're doing here. And just remember this, we love y'all. That's why we're putting this message out, because we love y'all. And we want y'all to know the Most High loves you, and He just wants you to be obedient to what He is speaking to you right now. From Stepping Stones of Home here in Botswana.